Oh shit, academics. Oh, you. Wow. Uh-oh. Let's get back to the paperwork. As detailed below. I want to make sure y'all can hear me. All right, cool. As detailed below, Mr. Allen made several public statements defaming Ms. Abash surrounding the events of her assault. She was filled with anger, and all the suppressed, painful memories of that horrific night resurfaced. In her state of anger, Ms. Abash released a video addressing DJ Akademiks' involvement in her sexual assault. When Ms. Abash's account was published, DJ Akademiks lashed out with false statements. DJ Akademiks denied involvement, even though upon information and belief, DJ Akademiks' spermicide was discovered on the rape kit, which publicly damaged Mrs. Abash's reputation even further. DJ Akademiks and his two accomplices sexually assaulted, severely injured Ms. Abash, causing significant physical and psychological pain and suffering, loss of dignity, and an invasion of her privacy. DJ Akademiks' public statements added to the harm Ms. Abash was already silently suffering with. Plaintiff Abash is a writer. She is a resident and documentarian of the state of Pennsylvania. What's this word? I don't know this word. I need to see what this word means. I know some of y'all know what the word means. I don't. Of relating to or constituting, provided, taking place in the home, providing care and living space. As for disabled veterans. Oh, she's like a home attendant. Domiciliary. Domiciliary. Never heard of that word. I guess I will when I get older, huh? Defendant DJ Akademiks is a social media antagonist and commentator primarily known for his presence on platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch. DJ Akademiks is currently a resident and a domiciliarian of the state of New Jersey, a resident. Well, he's taking care of somebody at home too? At all times herein, after mention upon information and belief, defendant John Doe's 1 to 10 names being fictitious and used to connote an unidentified person responsible for this occurrence. We're authorized invitees to the premises in the New Jersey where plaintiff alleges she was raped. At all times herein, after mention upon information and belief, defendant John Doe's 1 and 10 drugged and raped the plaintiff on or about July 16, 2022 at the location plaintiff details in this complaint. That all times hereinafter mentioned upon information and belief, defendant John Doe's 1 and 10 acted with the express and or implied permission, consent, and knowledge of defendants ABC corporations. 1 and 10 names being fictitious and used to connote unidentified entities responsible for this occurrence. What businesses are they gonna try to go after with Akademiks? To rape plaintiff on or about July 16th at the premises identified in this pleading. Jurisdiction and venue. This court has subject matter jurisdiction over this action according to 28 U.S.C. 1332 A1 because the parties are citizens of different states and the amount in the controversy exceeds $75,000. Venue is proper according to 28 U.S.C. 1391 B2 because of substantial part of the evidence, of the events giving rise to this action occurred in the judicial district. Factual background. According to Ms. Abbas, she met DJ Akademiks online via social media on or about 2021. She began casually dating him and periodically invited her to his New Jersey home. At the time, Ms. Abbas lived in Pennsylvania. She did not have transportation, so DJ Akademiks would send her a car service such as Uber and Lyft to pick up in Pennsylvania and bring her to his home in New Jersey. That nigga was tricking for that coochie. God damn, nigga, you couldn't find no local coochie? You paying fucking goddamn Ubers from goddamn Pennsylvania all the way to Jersey? Sheesh, nigga. Ain't got no local bars where you live, nigga. As previously stated on July 16, 2022, DJ Akademiks contacted Mrs. Abbas and invited her to visit him at his home in New Jersey. Mrs. Abbas did not suspect any ill intentions, even though it had been almost a year since they last saw each other. She was accustomed to visiting DJ Akademiks, and DJ Akademiks sent their car service to Pennsylvania to pick up. Unbeknownst to Miss Abbas, DJ Akademiks had an ulterior motive when he invited her to his home on July 16, 2022. Before her arrival, DJ Akademiks had notified his friends John Doe 1 and 2 that a woman would be coming over and she was on a different type of vibes. A different type of vibes is an indication that Miss Abbas would be coming over to engage in sexual activity. According to the post on social media, DJ Akademiks admitted to telling John 1 and 2 and stated, "Now, granted, this is a girl who I've been dealing with for a couple of years. I've messed with her for years. When she came over at that time, she had told me she was like a dancer, some shit like that. I remember. I don't know if maybe..." Oh, and I got the link to the video where he said that. Niggas took it wrong because I remember she had told me she was like, "Yo, the girl you used to know, like I'm on some bad girl vibe now, bad girls vibes now type shit." Basically, she was like doing her thing. I remember I told them, John Doe 1 and 2, I'm like, "Yo, this is before when I was going to the party. I was like, yo, I'm about to get this girl, the plaintiff, coming over later for me. She told me she's on some different vibes. I don't know if that's what they, John Doe 1 and 2, took, and I can't really speak to other niggas' thing. I can only speak for myself. All right, bet, cool." That's how you talk. When Mr. Bash arrived at Mr. Allen's home, everything seemed normal apart from the neighborhood power outage. John Doe Khalif, a friend of DJ Academics, greeted her. Mr. Bash was taken aback because DJ Academics did not tell her anyone was going to be at his home upon arrival. She did not suspect anything suspicious, so she entered the home. John Doe 1 invited Mrs. Abash into the kitchen and introduced her to John Doe 2, Slime, another one of DJ Academic's friends. Due to the power outage, the three of them sat in the kitchen together. Mrs. Abash engaged in small talk with them while patiently waiting for DJ Academics to appear. Mr. Abash recalls John Doe 1 being relatively talkative while John Doe 2 was oddly quiet. Mr. Abash was initially offered a drink, but she refused and opted to make her own drink, as she was accustomed to when she visited DJ Academic's home. John Doe 1 insisted that they prepare Mrs. Abash's drink. Unbeknownst to Miss Abash, John Doe 1 was DJ Academic's manager or employee, and he asserted his position by telling Mrs. Abash that he was in charge until DJ Academics arrived. As odd as this encounter was, Mr. Abash obliged and allowed John Doe 1 and 2 to fix her drink. As the trio conversed, Mr. Abash asked for DJ Academics and was told to hold on. John Doe 1 left the kitchen to find DJ Academics, and when he came back, he said DJ Academics would join them shortly. Mr. Abash believed that this was true and did not go to find DJ Academics herself because the home was completely dark. Admittedly, Mrs. Abash recalls having an eerie feeling, but she ignored it. She did not believe that DJ Academics, who she had known for nearly 2 years, would harm her or allow her to be harmed. She dismissed these feelings as nerves and waited for DJ Academics to arrive. Shortly after the power had returned, John Doe asked Miss Abash wanted to use the hot tub or the pool and wait for DJ Academics there. Mr. Abash said she'd be okay with the hot tub. Again, Mr. Abash did not suspect anything as she was accustomed to using the hot tub and pool when she previously visited DJ Academics' home. She was under the impression that John Doe 1 and 2 would leave after putting the hot tub on, and their actions and gestures made it appear that they were heading out. Mr. Abash enters the hot tub alone. Shortly after, John Doe 1 appeared from the inside the house and proceeded to join her in the hot tub. Shortly after that, John Doe 2 appeared with a bottle of alcohol and began forcing her to take shots of the alcohol. According to Mr. Abash, she vaguely remembers John Doe 2 nervously pacing around the pool area. Eventually, Mr. Abash recalls beginning to feel strange. It was not simply a feeling of intoxication, as Mr. Abash had only half of the first drink and a few sips of the new drink that John Doe had provided her as he entered the hot tub. Mr. Abash began feeling extremely hot, as if her body was on fire. She felt extremely lightheaded and dizzy. Upon noticing this, John Doe asked her if she was lit and then returned to the kitchen. He returned with more alcohol, which he insisted she drank. Then he even went as far as to pour the alcohol into Mrs. Abash's mouth forcibly. According to Mrs. Abash, she recalls John Doe 1 becoming very handsy and aggressively made sexual advances toward her, which she rejected. Upon information and belief, John Doe was on the sidelines watching while all this was happening. According to Mr. Abash, John Doe 1 would not take no for an answer and began groping her. He eventually picked up and tossed her into the pool adjacent to the adjacent to the hot tub. According to Mr. Bass, she was disorientated. Had trouble breathing, and struggled to get out of the pool for fear of drowning. As she attempted to crawl out of the pool while still disorientated and struggling to breathe, John Doe 1 attacked her. He forcefully removed her underwear, opened her legs, and began penetrating her vagina with his erect penis. This is crazy. Mr. Bash did not consent. In fact, due to the alcohol and whatever substance was placed in the alcohol, she was not in the right mindset to consent to any of the sexual acts that were being performed to her by John Doe 1. Mr. Bash has memories of fighting off her attackers, but feeling extremely weak. As John Doe 1 assaulted her, Mr. Bash would later learn that John Doe 2 watched from the side and undressed in the bushes nearby. Mr. Bash would later learn that as she lay lifeless on the concrete, John Doe 1 was standing in the pool while shifting her lifeless body back and forth, on the concrete. John Doe 2 was undressing in the bushes and will soon ambush Mr. Bash. The two men then proceeded to rape Mr. Bash simultaneously. Upon information and belief, this was witnessed by the police when the surveillance video was recovered. Woo! As John Doe 1 finished vaginally, I can't keep saying the R word, goddamn it, because this is just vaginally R-ing Mr. Bash. He allowed John 2 to R Mr. Bash vaginally. According to Mr. Bash, lying on the concrete was the last memory she had of that part of the attack. She recalls going in and out of consciousness and does not recall ever entering the home. Huh? Whatever substance John Doe 1 and 2 slipped into Mrs. Abad's drink negatively impacted her memory and caused her to lose consciousness. According to Mrs. Abash, she recalls being awakened naked in a bed in what she believed was DJ Akademiks' bedroom. She believed this was around 4 a.m. She was woken up by DJ Akademiks savagely pulling her hair, prying her legs open, and R-ing her, brutally R-ing her. Wow. According to Mr. Bash, Mr. Allen was relentless. He tried to penetrate her anally and was frustrated because she kept squirming and moving due to the pain. Oh, this nigga's a booty bandit? Allegedly. As a result, Mr. Booty Bandit allegedly proceeded to R her vaginally. Wow. Upon information and belief, DJ Akademiks was not using protection when he anally and vaginally R'd her. Mr. Bash, as evidenced by the purported discovery of his oh my God. Livingston. Why I'm Livingston? Why am you doing Livingston? Upon information and belief, Livingston was not using protection when he anally and vaginally awed Miss Abash, as evidenced by the perpetual discovery of his spermicide on the rape kit, which was performed performed on Mr. Bash a few hours after he R'd her. Mr. Bash recalls begging DJ Akademiks to stop R'ing her. Wow. She recalls her voice was faint as she continued to drift in and out of consciousness. Mr. Bash remembers crying for most of this assault, but losing her ability to move physically. Mr. Bash eventually gave up fighting in hopes that DJ Akademiks would finish quickly. Wow. Mr. Bash recalls DJ Akademiks said, "Open your mouth," as he pulled her hair. He said, "Open your mouth. I want to come in your mouth." Wow. "I want to kazama in your mouth." This was her last memory of the attack. According to Mr. Bash, she woke up confused the following morning and searched for DJ Akademiks. According to Mr. Bash, she looked around the house and found him in the basement on his computer. According to Mr. Bash, she sat on the floor next to him and he asked her if she knew that his friends ran the train on her, to which she said no. He kept asking, "Are you sure?" He told her everything was all right and that he was good if she was cool. According to Mr. Bash, she was baffled and in disbelief. According to Mr. Bash, DJ Akademiks did ask her to follow him into another room where he showed her the contents of a small trash can that had appeared to be vomit in it and two gold Magnum condom wrappers, and asked, "You don't remember this?" Mr. Bash was still in disbelief. She had zero recollection of ever being in that room that prior night. According to Mr. Bash, it appeared that John Doe 1 and 2 had R'd her by the pool. The pair had taken her into another room in the house and continued to R her brutally. DJ Akademiks then handed her the can of vomit and asked her to throw it away. Mr. Bash then asked for her phone, and DJ Akademiks went to retrieve it. He continued telling her everything was all right if she was okay. At this point, she was still in disbelief and asked for proof of what occurred. According to Mr. Bash, DJ Akademiks showed her the surveillance footage of John Doe 1 R'ing her briefly and skipped through the video. According to Mr. Bash, as she watched the video, she looked like she was just lying there lifeless, which did not sit right with her. According to Mr. Bash, DJ Akademiks didn't assure her that everything was okay. And as she spoke, he noticed Mr. Bash's demeanor had begun to change. DJ Akademiks then hastily told her that his mother was on the way and would be there shortly, and proceeded to order her lift back to Pennsylvania. According to Mr. Bash, DJ Akademiks asked her where her clothing was. According to Mr. Bash, DJ Akademiks asked her where her clothing was. She responded that she had it. He stood there with a suspicious look on his face. Mr. Bash later learned from the police that DJ Akademiks disposed of several items, bed sheets, etc., at a dumpster near his office. Presumably, DJ Akademiks was attempting to destroy the evidence of Mrs. Bash's R.A. to the P.E. Mr. Bash began feeling uneasy. She felt that DJ Akademiks was attempting to take her clothes for some reason, presumably to hide whatever evidence she may have had of what happened to her the night before. As these thoughts ran through her mind, So as not to alarm Mr. Allen, Miss Abash remained composed as she waited for her lift to arrive. Mr. Bass said bye to DJ Akademiks and left his home. According to Mr. Bass, she called DJ Akademiks while in the lift, asking for more answers. He then began to blame her and ridicule her. Still trying to get answers, she pleaded with him, even apologizing for what occurred, as she was desperate to learn of the series of events that led to DJ Academic and his accomplices' attack on her. According to Mrs. Abash, she asked DJ Academic, well, you said that it was both of them, but you only showed me one. Can you please send me proof of this? To which DJ Academic sent a screenshot of the attack Miss Abash laid out on the concrete in front of the pool, with John Doe 1 between her legs and John Doe 2 sitting on top of her face, presumably with his penis and testicles in her mouth. This was that's the picture I showed y'all. This was terrifying to her, as she knew within herself that she would never consent to any of this, even though she had previously intimate with DJ Academics in her years past. It was never a threesome or anything other than one-on-one consensual sex. As she arrived home where she felt safest, the reality of what happened began to set in. Miss Abash also began feeling intense vaginal and anal pain. She contacted DJ Academics again, saying that she was hurt and wanted to see someone. Miss Abash felt destroyed, but also was afraid and wanted to know if there would be repercussions from DJ Academics if she were to seek help. She asked him for the complete footage, and DJ Academics refused. He suggested she get tested for sexually transmitted diseases and said he would do the same. This was an odd statement, as it was proof that DJ Academics, who had not slept with Miss Abash for over a year, engaged in unprotected sexual intercourse with Miss Abash. Still fearful, Miss Abash contacted her immigration lawyer, who advised her to contact the police regardless of the outcome. Miss Abash called the police and reported an incident of sexual assault. They told her due to the seriousness of the matter, she needed to appear in person to speak with them, and she also visit and that she also visit a hospital for SANE test rape kit. She went to the hospital, Penn State Health, St. Joseph, where the same test was performed, and the police called Miss Abash to schedule a meeting. According to Miss Abash, during the meeting, a statement was taken, photographs of her bruises. I ain't saying that wrong. That nigga spelled that shit wrong. And scars were taken to the officers and asked her to participate in a recorded wire call with DJ Academics. According to Mr. Bash, during the recorded wire call, the police wrote down a list of questions for Mr. Bash to ask DJ Academics, but told her not to make it evident that the police were listening. That's the same thing your man be doing on YouTube. They be giving these niggas questions to ask these dumb niggas, and they pay them, and they get up there. You'll see. Watch. I ain't going to get into that right now. Mr. Bash remembers asking DJ Academics to describe how she looked when he saw her in bed. He answered, "You look like you were in the pool." Now remember, this nigga he's being wiretapped right now. According to Mr. Bash on this call, DJ Academics graphically recounts and admits to having sexual intercourse with Mr. Bash, even going as far as to describe her vagina as being loose, stating, "I know what your pussy feels like." That shit felt loose. Wow. Wow. What that means? You got a little ding ding and your boys busted open? Academics? Allegedly. Based on information and belief, this evidence was used to obtain a warrant for the footage. And police secured the footage and other evidence. Oh, this nigga getting ready to go to jail, bro. According to Mr. Bash, the results of the same test produced evidence that Mr. Bash had been sexually assaulted. In addition to the rape kit, Mr. Bash had images of bruises on her arm, back, buttocks, and legs that are evidence of the struggle that she endured and sheer brutality of the attack. At the time of attack, Mr. Bash was 5'5" and weighed less than 115 pounds. The attackers were approximately 5'10", 160 pounds, and 5'11", 180 pounds. As detailed earlier, Mr. Bash was sexually assaulted on the concrete pool deck. As evidenced by the photo below, Mr. Bash's body was lying limp and lifeless while John 1 and 2 proceeded to pull her back and forth on the concrete, causing bruising and lacerations on her body. Wow. Hold on. This might be the picture. Let me make sure. Y'all don't need to see the picture. Yeah, that's the picture. These niggas, dirty niggas, man. Wow. As y'all can see, there's the pool. That's the picture. But I can't show y'all because this ain't the censored one. But that's the pool, the concrete, and the two guys and the girl right there. And this ain't blurred or nothing. They definitely piping her. Like one dude she giving one dude head and the other dude's between her legs. Right? Mr. Bash Mr. Bash was unconscious or incoherent because it is what is this word? Unconscionable to believe that any person who is a willing participant in these acts can endure the pain of being dragged back and forth on the concrete, incurring scrapes and scratches on their back, buttocks, and elbows, especially while there's an empty lawn chair in arm's reach, as well as several empty rooms in the home. Below are some of the images of her injuries. Oh, yeah, y'all niggas definitely was foul. Look at the scrapes on her back. On her spine. You could tell he was just dragging her. Damn, dirty niggas. Wow. DJ Akademiks, hubris, guilty conscience, and sheer stupidity caused him to incriminate himself in several social media posts. Hey, DJ Akademiks, you might as well just go ahead and settle with this girl. Nigga, you go ahead and not settle with this girl. Nigga, you about to have criminal charges. I don't know why he don't have criminal charges. On or about December 30th, 2023, Mr. Allen took to social media and issued the following statement.